You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Adler and Jonesy in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cantina Cast. My name is Albert Padilla, and this is the Waystation, your source for Star Wars news and rumors. Today is, of all days, May 5th, 2024, and I'm with me, joined as well, always by Ed and now Fred. And guys, I just want to say out of the start here, I don't know if I say May the 4th be with you. That was yesterday, but I know there was some controversy when we came on, so I'm going to go ahead and say it, but Revenge of the 5th, right? Welcome to another show, The Waystation. And Ed, I'll let you kind of kick this off. I want to know, like, did you celebrate yesterday for May the 4th? Have you celebrated this weekend? And what's your beef with Revenge of the 5th?
Well, first of all, May the 4th is a Jedi holiday, and I'm not a Jedi, so
my apologies.
I don't celebrate. Second of all, when did it become May the 5th? Wasn't it Revenge of the 6th?
It can
Revenge
be.
of the 6th sound better?
It can be. I've heard that as well. It's
But
going to be used again. You'll see it.
My nationaltoday.com calendar that I use for like all these stupid national days we have every day, and they're calling it Revenge of the 5th, and there's nothing for the 6th. So my whole social media life has been a lie.
Yeah.
Apparently it's Revenge of the 5th.
It is. I'm sorry. But, you can celebrate if you'd like. I mean, no one's, free country kind of thing.
No, today
I don't celebrate the 5th by like just being mean to someone, betraying someone you know.
How do you celebrate that?
I butter people up and just stab them in the back.
You're lined up at a buffet. There can only be two, and then you take all the chicken fingers from the basket. Come on,
spend all my day in fear.
Yeah.
Did you celebrate anything, Ed, yesterday?
I think no, I was on a patio for most of yesterday celebrating just it being sunny for once.
Yeah. Well, that's good. How about you, Fred? Did you get a chance to celebrate? I mean, you guys do anything as a family?
We had like we talked Star Wars most of the day. They had a birthday party that I had to take them to, and then my wife was off teaching salsa, and so while she was gone, when it's dude house, as we like to call it, we came home and we discussed what we were going to watch Star Wars wise. So we watched The Empire Strikes Back, which was actually my kids' choice.
Wow.
I wanted to watch Rogue One, and they wanted to watch The Empire Strikes Back. Okay, that's fine.
I'm not going to fight you.
So then we also, sorry?
I was going to say, I mean, those are probably the two best choices you could have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at either of those two.
And then we watched Tales of the Empire right afterwards, and they loved it. They really, really liked the Barriss Ophi storyline, and we had a lot of discussions about that. It was good, and it was cool to see them like talking about the concept of like balance in the Force. But a lot of those things translate into real life, so it was like dad time. You know how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, testosterone time. And we'll talk more about the Tales of the Empire here in a little bit. I think if you guys follow us on social media, Jonesy and I were out at May the 4th Be With Y'all. I'm actually wearing the official, you can see it there, the May the 4th Be With Y'all
awesome.
t-shirt. This was part of they come out with a new shirt every year, and you buy it for like $40 or whatever it is, and it all goes to charity. So it was a lot of fun.
Should have let me know. Would have got one. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah, they're still out there. You
can good. I'm good to go. We'll talk after the show.
Okay, or head out to silverlakecreative.org, I think is the website. But yeah, I'll send you the link, and I'll include it in the show notes if anybody wants to. But sweet looking shirts. But yeah, we were out there all day yesterday and did all kinds of great interviews with a lot of the people that put together the event, some of the people that worked behind the scenes. And then Jonesy went out with a mic, like a hot mic, and just started recording questions from kids. So we're going to compile all this together and release it as kind of like a commemorative audio podcast later down the week. So that's actually really, I think it's gonna be really good. I think you're gonna enjoy some of the answers on like favorite movies and favorite characters were actually not what I thought they would be. Like it's interesting. It's so diverse, right, in terms of what we all like and what we latch onto with Star Wars. And this show is going to be a testament to that. You'll see that here very soon. But let's get to the news. And it's called May the 4th Be With You as far as our headliner. And we're going to start there. I'm going to pull up some of the stuff that went on sale. Like there's all kinds of stuff that happens, of course, on May the 4th, right? All weekend it's a big celebration. In Texas, they actually update the road signs. The one that say like buckle up, be safe. Yeah. They actually have a May the 4th Be With You on there, and it's broadcast. So, I mean, everybody celebrates in different ways, but Again, there was no shortage of things. I'm going to pull up this if I can ever get to the dang thing here. And let's talk about some of the stuff that went on sale this weekend. And I want to see, I know you guys have had a chance to look at this already, but if you go to StarWars.com, they've still got links to just about everything that was on. That was the 15 most impressive things. But I know you guys had a chance to look at it. Ed, I'll start with you. Was there anything on here that kind of jumped out at you and felt like, wow, this is something I need to have or I can't live without, or anything that you actually went out and bought?
Well, the two things you'd have to scroll way down. I think they're at the bottom there. The two things I liked were the Obi-Wan Kenobi Mythos premium format figure. That just looks awesome. You can change the heads. You can choose which version of Obi-Wan you want. That's pretty cool. But I think the one I want to stock my fridge with is the the vanilla blue milk.
Okay, so I got to ask you. You guys are both in Canada. Did
we
that come out there?
Yeah. Is this going to be available in Canada? One, because I don't think True Moo exists in Canada.
Oh, no.
And two, like, is it beef milk or what is it?
So
beef milk.
Beef milk. I would hope so.
I don't know if it's technically milk. It's like it's just blue. But if they say blue milk, that can denote something that is not dairy based at all. I don't know.
Well, on the label, and this may be too. Let me see if I can blow this up. But oh no, that's not what I want to do. It clearly says that this is blue colored vanilla low fat milk with other natural flavors, inspired by Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Blue milk, pour the power of protein, is the tagline for this. Now, this is for sale in the U.S. all over the place. In fact, they've got it in Targets. Like, that's where I've seen most people find it, because this is a True Moo is not it's not like a brand that, at least down here in Central Texas, it's not a brand that you can just generally find anywhere. But some of the national chains like Target, the Walmarts, they have this and they're stocking it. And so I thought it was going to be hard to find. I've seen a lot of people buy it and a lot of people try it. And I guess the consensus, at least from the people that my circles, has been that's been pretty good. So
all right.
I had the blue milk when I was at Galaxy's Edge. I don't know if that's the same product at all, but I thought it was pretty dope. Yeah. But I know that like dairy laws and food laws in Canada are very weird and they're very protective about dairy. So I don't know, given that this isn't even from our galaxy, if we'll even be able to have this on store shelves. We'll have to wait and see how Customs treats it.
Yeah. I'll ship you some.
Yeah.
Considering in Canada we're boycotting all the grocery stores, maybe a little trip to North Dakota, to Target, bring some groceries.
Slip across the border and let me know how that works. Get me some of that. Send it in the mail.
Bigger problems than blue milk right now. What about you, Fred? Was there anything on here that
Leia mug looked rad? I have the Porg mug like that, and I have a weird thing about mugs. Just cool mugs that aren't even necessarily super good and functional, but that's the type of thing that I tend to gravitate towards. All the rest of the stuff feels like it's a little bit out of my price range. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that Porg mug with the opening, and I find that it keeps your drinks a lot warmer too. So
I'm sorry about the scrolling, guys. I know this is probably like just making everybody sick, but I'm trying to find. I think
it's right there. Yeah.
It's kind of cool. I mean, it's a tiki, I think, technically, but I mean,
anything that is made of like a pottery or a kiln based material is for hot beverages. I'm sorry, that is a hot beverage vessel right there.
Yeah.
So that's for me.
Wonder if it's got a handle on it. Somebody's with us tonight. This is Neil Sega, a good friend of mine. He actually tried this online. He's saying it's good, not the same as Galaxy's Edge at all. So,
well, I'm SOL. I'm sorry. The force is not with me.
I have to figure out a way to send you guys some. I don't know how that'll work, but who knows? But all right, anything else besides the tiki?
The Lego always makes the weird thing is whenever I see Star Wars Lego anything, I get this weird like sense of missing out that I want it so bad, but I have no more room on my Lego shelf.
Yeah,
like the land speeder, like Luke's land speeder came out, the UCS version of that, I got on board right away. And that kind of like chewed up the last bit of room on the Star Wars Lego shelf for me. So it's going to take
the big one, right? The little, like,
the
3 foot one.
The big one, yeah. And that was a huge deal for me. I love, and the way they incorporated all the guts of the machines and the thrusters, and it just looked super rad. That was the last big Star Wars Lego purchase. But every time I see it, I get weirdly excited about Star Wars Lego. Like, I can't even explain it. I feel like I'm 14 years old again.
I tried to. I bought it. It's back here and it's not assembled. It's missing the engines on it still. It's just sitting there. And I never finished the Ghost. I'm bad about Legos. I have like 4 boxes of Legos that are not open, that are just sitting up there. But I don't want to open them. To your point, I don't have any room for them. Like, I don't know where the heck I would stick these things now.
If I don't finish them, the kids will just come along with zero permission and they'll just put it together. And I'll come home and they'll be all excited about it. Dad, look what we did. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah,
thanks.
You ruined my adulthood.
Yeah.
I actually was looking at this thing here. Do you guys remember this character from Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
He's like in one scene in the back in the shadows, and he's literally just standing there the entire time. He's creepy as you know what. But this was an action figure that I remember when it came out. I was like, heck yeah, I want that. But this is a 12-inch figure that they've come out here. And I don't remember. I didn't get a chance to look to see how much they're selling this thing for, but this is definitely in the weird zone. So
why are they saying Gentle Giant and he's got a stick with severed heads on it? That makes zero sense.
That's the name of the company that's releasing it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused, guys.
Not using that as a descriptor for a man at all.
It's like $99.
Yeah. Oh, is it $99? Yeah, I might pull the trigger on that one. After I just complained I don't have any room for it, of course. This is the other thing that I want. So I've got a Secret Lab chair, which I highly recommend if anybody is looking for a chair. They're great, but they finally came out with the Jedi skin. So this is $199, and it just kind of sits right over the chair that you've already paid, $900 for. But yeah, it looks cool. I love the design on it. I'm pretty sure I'd stain it and somehow. And then I'm with you. Like I had this one picked out too, the Obi-Wan Kenobi one. Jonesy has like the first Mythos that came out a number of years ago, and it was kind of the same concept, but it was a younger Obi-Wan Kenobi, like right after maybe the Kenobi series or after Revenge of the Sith. And it's very similar, and it's really cool. When the Kenobi series came out, you could see some of the same things, the influences from that statue that they use and put in the Kenobi series itself. But that thing sells for a crap ton of money now. So I can't imagine what the starting price is on this, but at some point that's going to go up in value, I would assume, just like the first one did.
Oh yeah, it just says coming soon. Doesn't give you a price.
Yeah, you probably can't afford it. I mean, none of us can really. Let's just be honest. So
if you have to ask,
right, that's right. Yeah. That's why the price is not on there. So, all right, let's get into some television stuff here. Let's talk about Acolyte. So this weekend, at least at the AMC theaters in the U.S., if you went to saw The Phantom Menace, and at the very end of the movie, they played a special extended scene between a fight between May and Indara. So Carrie-Anne Moss's character and Amanda oh darn it, what's her last name? I'm still learning the names, but nonetheless, those two characters are fighting. And I know all three of us have seen it. So I don't want to comment on it because I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it was phenomenal. I guess the question that I want to start with you, Fred, did you get it? Is it showing even up there in Canada right now? Or are you guys planning to go see The Phantom Menace?
I didn't have a chance to even really look at it. I do know that it is showing because I've had friends that went to go watch it, but I haven't seen a lot of chatter about this scene. And that could be a great thing. That could be people just being respectful about people who weren't able to go see it. Because some of us have these weird things called responsibilities with our lives, and life finds a way, it gets in the way of all these things. So I haven't seen a lot of chatter about it, but man, that scene is so cool. it's all that we talked about it before we went on air, like the little things that are done. It's those little details that I was really impressed with. And Carrie-Anne Moss just has this dignity, it's a great casting call because there is this poise that she has that to me screams Jedi. And not just Jedi, but Jedi Master. And I was kind of on the fence about how I was going to feel, but seeing it and seeing the way she carries herself in the scene, she puts me over, man. She puts me right over. There was no point where I was doubting anything I was watching. It suckered me right in. And it's just like, it was one of those God, I love Star Wars moments. You know what I mean? That's how I felt.
Yeah. Ed, what about you? You've not shared any thoughts. And I was like, he's kind of quiet. I wonder if he enjoyed it. What did you think?
I did like it. One of the things that sucked me in though, at the end of it, I was like, oh, when's this hitting theaters? I'm like, oh, right. This is on Disney Plus. This is a series. It's like, that's how good it looked. Yeah. And I was like, oh, they're really stepping up their game with just the look of the TV shows that you're starting to say oh, this could this have been a theatrical release?
Yeah. Definitely has the chops. I mean, based on, I mean, and I get what you're saying, like, and not to take anything away from TV directors, because that's not even fair. TV directors
they're dealing with
film
different
directors,
budgets, right?
different budgets, but there's something about this that seems very well polished in the way that Andor seemed very well polished. Only this feels more action oriented. At least, I mean, that's probably biased too because we saw an action sequence. But when I compare this to, and again, I'm not taking anything away from like Ahsoka or Kenobi. This feels a few levels up in terms of like the production quality and the choreography, the cinematography, the way that's been edited, the music. Oh man, the music really sucked me in. Like it wasn't like the Goranson stuff. It was more like John Williams. It had some heavy strings in there. It was kind of elevating the tension between the two, of course. And you kind of want that in a fight scene, but there was just something about the music too that stood out to me immediately. So I'm excited about to see how much more we get with the music from this series alone. But I mean, we're talking about that on top of this little, I think it's like 2 minutes long that they show this whole fight scene, about 2 minutes. On top of that, they did kind of release an official trailer now for the Acolyte. And so some of it was a mix between the footage that we got from the teaser, but there were a lot of new shots in there. I want your guys' thoughts on that. And then we also got this key art piece that we got pulled up right here that finally shows us I'm going to use air quotes here, Sith, the bad guy, the red wielding lightsaber guy here. So, Ed, any other kind of thoughts on the trailer itself? And then I want you guys to chime in on the look, the aesthetic of our new bad guy, our antagonist, the Sith Lord here. If they are indeed a Sith Lord, I don't want to be presumptuous.
I feel like that the trailer, not like the teaser we got a while ago, but the newer trailer just is filling us with just misdirections, right?
Yes.
I think they're trying to set us up for something, and we're gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be like this. Then all of a sudden, we're like, no, got you. It's actually I have no idea who's gonna betray who. I have no idea what the spin is, but I know like I want to distrust every person there because this feels like, right, this is the end of the High Republic, right? This is like when they're like, oh, yes. I guess things aren't as good as we thought they were, and this is kind of that fall. So it's like, all right, who's betraying who? And I don't know if we're going to find that out this season or if it's going to be like the cliffhanger at the end of the season. But I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, mission accomplished because I think they set out intently to do just that, right? It's a lot of deception. It's a murder mystery. It's a whodunit. A lot of misdirection, like you said, trying to figure out who's behind it all. But Fred, what about you? What did you think about the trailer? And then chime in on that Sith Lord there.
I love the trailer. I do. And we talked last time about I'm a little bit tired of the Jedi. Oh, they're actually bad. And I just hope that we can avoid that, because the argument always is the Jedi were good and then they lost their way. This is the old Republic. If they don't have their way here, when did they ever have the way? So I just hope that they can avoid that. I love the reveal of the Sith. Potentially it's the Sith. Maybe it's who knows? But it looks so cool, man. Like, I think that we get too caught up in the hyperanalyzation of everything that they do with Star Wars. And sometimes we forget that it's a cool concept about really rad space wizards and space samurai doing dope things. And I feel like they're really leaning in on that hard with this one. That fight scene, especially just the little details that they were doing, like Carrie-Anne Moss in the middle of a fight scene still breathing through just her nose. And that's not a spoiler, not spoiling anything. I know we talked about that.
We all breathe through noses, folks.
Yeah, but it's just the calmness, you know what I mean? And it's a little subtle detail of someone being like, but it's like, it reminds me of just, I'm not even trying. I'm at peace right now. And that's what I love about Jedi. There's no fear, only focus and reliance on the Force. And in its truest sense. And I'm hopeful we see that, because the idea of the High Republic to me is the Old Republic, High Republic, whatever. I feel like we're talking about Egyptology here with the old New Kingdoms. But it's just, I want the Jedi to be awesome again,
Yeah.
Rad space wizards, Stephanie, you said it. That's right.
Rad space wizards. What did you guys, so the helmet to me, and Jonesy and I, by the way, after this show, we're going to break down the trailer to the nth degree. I mean, we're literally going frame by frame on this one, but the helmet, it looks to me similar to the Knights of Ren, like one of those characters, right? Just the aesthetic, the look of it, but the teeth, it's got like teeth that kind of wrap around the bottom, and I can't help but think of like Venom. As far as like the character look, it's very different. Like just in my head when I think about Sith and going back even into the old Republic, this is not a typical look for a Sith Lord. There's just something different about it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not a criticism. It's not a critique. I actually think it's kind of cool. It's different. It does lean more for me into the Knights of Ren, like I said. But again, that's not a bad thing. So I'm excited, I guess, more than anything about the look itself. I'm with you guys. I don't know that this is going to be the actual Sith Lord, because you remember, it's a rule of two. This could be the apprentice who's looking for his apprentice, right? And together, this person and whoever the acolyte is going to be are going to overthrow the existing, Lord, the master kind of thing. So there's a lot of great stuff at play here, and I can't wait to see where the series goes. Man, that trailer, it really got me pumped. And it's funny. I think the 2-minute footage between Carrie-Anne Moss's character, Yadara, and May got me more excited for this than the actual trailer did. So that says a lot. I think that bodes really well for the series once we get it.
That's relying on the skill of your performers, just letting them do what they do. And of course, your fight choreographer, who's probably very good as well, because that felt, to me, it had like one of those 1980s, early 90s Kung Fu movie vibes where it was the cinematography going close and wide, close and wide, close and wide. And leaning on the trailer, that's something that we've seen. And it makes it feel big, like you've got these really wide, big, huge shots of them on a beach or walking along a hill. And then when it shows them inside, it's this close, confined space that they have a lot of control over. And I think that creates a sense of a really rich, detailed setting without having to build these massive sets, And I think I'm thoroughly impressed. And they got me. They brought me back in. Even when I don't want to like it, I'm like, ugh. Then that happens because you feel that sense of like exhaustion for this franchise, and then it's like they show you, here it is again. You're like, all right, I'm in again. Don't worry, you got me.
Suck me right back in.
Yeah.
Let's see what I think that was. So that was pretty much what they released as far as Acolyte goes. Of course, this is coming out on June. Is it June 5th?
June 4th, I think.
June 4th. Yeah, somewhere around there. So not much longer, folks. And I imagine we'll get, from this point on, we probably won't get any additional trailers. We'll get TV footage. There might be some BTS stuff. There is one that they'd already done with JJ out in Korea. So if you get a chance, you can go out there and find that one. That has some reveals as well. There's some stuff in there that I was like, whoa, they haven't talked about this anywhere else. It was kind of a Korean exclusive. It's all in English. It's just subtitled in Korean. So go out and do a search for that if you really want to get more information on what's going on with that character. This is Master Soul's character, played by they call him JJ. I forget his full name. The guy from what was the name of that TV show that he was in?
Squid Game.
Squid Game. Yeah. So good stuff on that. All right, let's talk about Tales of the Empire. So this is finally out. We've been waiting for it. I think we've all had a chance to see it now. And let me just get up. I'll say this. I enjoyed both stories. I enjoyed the Barriss Offee story more. I felt like the Morgan Elsbeth story started off really well, like that first episode, and then I don't know. It was great. It was good, I should say. I wasn't crazy about it, but it was still good. But there was something about the Barriss Offee story that was just kind of where I wanted to be. But overall, I enjoyed both of the stories. And I don't want to do any spoilers, but Fred, I kind of want your just thoughts. I know you were talking about it before we came on air, and some of the things you liked, some of the things you maybe didn't like. But what was your opinion of it, having watched it?
The Barriss story was episode 6 was some of the best Star Wars I've seen since One Way Out on Andor. I loved it, and I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I like the Morgan Elsbeth story, exactly what you said, the way it starts out, and you get a sense of, oh, this is why she is the way she is. But I feel like there was suddenly this weird turn, and there was no payoff. Like the way she was behaving at the end didn't coincide with the justification she had at the beginning. I don't want to give anything away for anybody that hasn't seen it. It's still very new. I mean, it only came out yesterday, so I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
But I felt that there was a disconnect for me with the character arc. Where with Barriss, it's everything I like about Star Wars. Like it was so good. And it really has the way I loved her character in Clone Wars, and I loved her arc, and I loved her questioning of the establishment, so to speak. And there's this tendency in the way we live and in pop culture especially, that if you don't like A, well then you've got to be part of B. But it's the classic Superman conundrum. Like a terrible Superman story is, you've got a horrible choice. You've got this. If you don't do this, then these people are going to die. But if you do this, then these people are going to die. And what makes Superman Superman is he finds a third way where everybody gets saved. That's a good Superman story.
Right.
And I feel like this was an example of that, where you can find a third way. And that's not spoiling anything. It's just great character writing. And I don't know if it was like motion capture, but the fight scenes with Barriss were so good, like so strong. It's fantastic. I was even talking about it with my kids this morning. We were dissecting the character arc that she had, and it was like they're at that age where they're starting to ask character questions, which I love. I loved it. It was fantastic. I don't want to go too much. Ed, I can see you nodding. Like, you go, take it. It's yours.
Yeah, I mean, I liked how, at least at the beginning, the episode 1 of each of theirs, right? They kind of mirrored each other of like, this is a young person taken by the Empire, and let's see kind of what happens. The end point for both are different places, right? Because I feel like with Elsbeth, we're trying to fill in blanks, right? Because she kind of shows up in Ahsoka, and we're like, well, who's she? And this is who she is. This is where she is.
Her origin story.
This is her origin story. This is how we get to basically right before we meet her in Ahsoka, right? This is kind of, or I guess that would have been, was that Ahsoka? Or no, when she fights Ahsoka.
Yeah, it was in Ahsoka.
Mandalorian season.
It was Mandalorian.
It was Mandalorian, right? It was Mandalorian was the first appearance, but it was, to fight Ahsoka, and this is kind of where she was. With Barriss, it's a little bit different, and you kind of get to see what she's been doing, what she's been up to since she was exiled by the Jedi. And it's like it's almost like they had more room to play, and that's why I feel like, when Fred was talking about this is the best Star Wars I've seen, it's like because they weren't under constraints, because it was like they're kind of open and being able to tell a story instead of like we're filling in a gap. We're filling in the end gap. We're not filling in somewhere to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's Inquisitors.
Yeah.
We all know how I feel about Inquisitors. They're my favorite. I love them. I love them to death. And I feel like I could spoil stuff, but there's some really cool.
No, you can. We know you can.
I know there's some connecty stuff with Jedi Fallen Order, and I think that if you play Jedi Fallen Order and then you watch this and you've watched Rebels, there's a lot of really cool full circle stuff that happens. So I don't know.
Fred, you mentioned like kung fu movie stuff with the trailer for the Acolyte.
It's always a tea house. It's always a tea house. Everyone fights in the tea house.
Yeah, there's almost like a little bit of Pai Mei Kill Bill situation going in the Barriss story, which was awesome.
I didn't catch that. That's a good one.
Yeah. And I think I'm trying not to spoil this, but like it's just when you notice it, it's like, oh, because I just rewatched Kill Bill a couple weeks ago. It's like, oh, is that taken from that? And clearly Quentin likes to take things from other stuff, so I'm sure there's another kung fu movie that was taken from. But there's
also a really good little tie into that opening scene of Obi-Wan Kenobi where the Grand Inquisitor is in the town.
Yes. Yeah.
And talking to the people, and you've got to wonder if the way he's acting in that scene is directly referencing stuff that happens in episode 5. And it's all
connected.
It was great. I would love to get the reins on an Inquisitor focused story. Like, it's so psychological terror, like gold mine stuff. I love it so much.
Yeah.
And you could see that they were dancing around the darkness with that story. But I would have liked to have seen a few. Sorry, I could go on and on about it. There was only 3 episodes, but I absolutely adored everything that I saw. It was fantastic.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance, go out and watch it. It's not a huge time commitment. I think you can sit down and get all of them in like in 40 minutes. I think total, between both 40 minutes each for both of the episode storylines. So it's out. It's great. We've been waiting forever for this thing, and now it's just a matter of getting Tales of the Jedi 2, and I imagine at some point we'll have Tales of the Empire 2. I want a Tales of the Sith. Like just pull the Band-Aid off. Give us Tales of the Sith at some point, but we'll see how that goes. Bad Batch wrapped up. I kind of want to get your thoughts on Bad Batch and just the ending. I know we could spend a whole show talking about this, but Ed, did you get a chance to watch the ending at all?
I did. It got spoiled for me. I was so mad.
Oh, really? Okay. What did you think about
that I anger watched it right away?
And we can talk about it now.
I spent all week trying to avoid spoilers for X-Men 97, and then I got hit with a spoiler for Bad Batch. I was like, no,
you can't.
One of them got to get me. I liked it. I didn't love it. I don't know. It was good. I feel like they were setting us up for heartbreak the entire time with like the way the previous season ended, and it was just like, we're not doing spoilers here, right?
Yeah, we are. We got the happy ending in this one.
Yeah, and it was just like, I didn't assume we were gonna get a happy, or like at least I thought somebody was gonna. Well, I guess somebody lost something. But
Crosshair lost his hand. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those weird things. It's like, I was preparing myself for heartbreak and didn't get it.
Yeah.
Where's my heartbreak? Fred,
what about you? Were you setting yourself for heartache? Did you enjoy the happy ending? And then what did you think about where Omega's heading to afterwards?
I didn't feel surprised. Nothing really was like, didn't see that coming. But I feel like I've been disconnecting from Bad Batch since about halfway through the second season. And that doesn't mean there weren't some cool scenes that I didn't absolutely adore. I love the Bad Batch. I love the concept about it. I love everything. I love every time I see Hunter, I see Rambo from Rambo 3, and I'm like desperate to have that big wheels, the Rambo big wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's lots of stuff that I love about the Bad Batch, but there's never been, it's never like gut punched me the way other Star Wars series have done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe it's,
is it the Jedi aspect of it?
No. I honestly, like Star Wars is so cool. You don't need to have Jedi in it to be cool.
Yeah, they've proven that now. Yeah.
I think what it is that I've noticed in terms of a writing standpoint, there's been some flip-floppy aspects of it, particularly with how they address the clones as a whole. Like you've got one episode where they're talking about getting rid of all the clones entirely. All the clones have got to go. They've all got to go. And then there's another episode where there's a guy who's like, I don't even like the clones. They're all the worst, blah, blah, blah. And then another episode, you've got like clones being treated really well. And it's, if it was like different star systems, I would understand a lack of congruity in terms of how they're being dealt with. But it's always in the same places. It's just, I feel like there was times where they had these really grandiose visions of things. And then another episode, a few episodes later, would be they'd almost get small scale and kiddie with it. And that for me was frustrating. But I like the characters that were there, and I liked their individual arcs. It's just there were aspects about the series as a whole that I felt they didn't have like a Bible that they stuck with, Yeah. And maybe they did with the characters, because the characters themselves felt really good, but the world around them felt there was an unevenness based on who was writing each episode. Am I making sense disjointed
here? I think so.
Yeah, I get you.
Like I like the Bad Batch. I'm wearing the hat. I'm branded. It's
I thought that was a Gretzky hat. Sorry.
Yeah, very good. But no, like I liked the Bad Batch, but I think I'm chasing that Andor vibe that Andor gave me, and then Rebels gave me before that. Like I don't, it's the emotional depth of the characters. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm a jerk. Maybe it's me. I'm the problem.
Okay, Taylor. What about, here's something you will like though. I know you're a big fan of Rebels, and they've just finally have released the all of the soundtracks. So for season 3 of Star Wars Rebels now. So the Kind Brothers have released that. It's out available on Spotify, Apple Music, really great tracks on there. Some of that stuff is like, it just brings back memories and emotions. And they've also released the last batch, no pun intended, of tracks from season 3 of the Bad Batch. So episodes 9 through 15, you can listen to all of that stuff. Have you guys had a chance to listen to this? Do you listen to soundtracks?
Yes.
Ed? You guys
All
both do?
Ed, you go first.
I know. I didn't ask you because I already know your answer. But Ed, what about you?
It depends what I'm doing. Sometimes if I'm working and I don't want to hear lyrics to something, I'll find like a musical score. Usually my go-to is something, from Trent Reznor. Maybe I'll listen to like the Halo score and I'll just zone out on that while I work on things. But yeah, maybe I'll give this one a try.
Okay. All right, Fred. Here we go.
Kevin Kiner. He's amazing.
Kevin Kiner. Yeah.
One of my absolute favorite pieces of music from all of Star Wars is season 2 of Rebels.
The ending.
Turning into the Star Cluster.
Oh, okay. No, that one's
it is so strong. Love it so much. Love it to death. Like when I'm writing, if I'm writing like anything that's like even sci-fi adjacent, I'll always listen to like a sci-fi based score.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bad Batch scores have been fantastic. Also, the Andor score is really good. And what I love about Andor's soundtrack is how the opening music changes by the episode and it builds and gets more intense as it goes. Some really subtle things that they did there.
Yeah, my blood pressure goes up listening to the Andor soundtrack. Like it literally does. It's like so tense the entire time.
And that song that they're playing when he's in the brothel in the first episode, like just so
I need that.
Very punchy, very punchy,
that.
very
I
cool.
need
it goes great with your lighting theme that you've got in the background.
Yeah, in the background. There.
Not like my dreary office in the basement.
All right, let's talk about gaming news because they finally. Oh my gosh! All right, so we'll talk about Fortnite. We'll get to Hunters in a second, but of course, again, we talked about this is Star Wars weekend, Star Wars Day weekend, and Fortnite came with a vengeance. They put everything back in the item shop. So if you want to play any of the characters so far that they've released, including the Death Trooper, which you can kind of see here at the very top, that skin's now available. And all of these, when you buy the skins for Fortnite, you also get the little minifig skin to play in Fortnite Lego. I think I've already spent about $49 just on skins alone, and I don't have anything other to show for it other than just the cool costumes. But some of these are so cool, and I'm not going to play, any of the trailer or anything like that. But they actually came out with a trailer as well. Do either of you play Fortnite? Have you ever tried it?
No, like my kids got into it, and I played it with them for a bit.
Yes,
but when they stopped playing it, I stopped playing it. Yeah. I'm very much I deal with people all day, and when I play video games, I want to be alone in my magical little world or my horrible post-apocalyptic nightmare. Whichever it is, I want to be alone. Yeah, I want to be alone.
Yeah. Well, this is so. If you don't want to get into Fortnite specifically, if you play Fortnite Lego, it's basically Minecraft, but only with Lego. Imagine Minecraft with Lego sets. And you actually can go through the process of so you have to get resources and you have to build a fort and you can get the blueprints. And when you build a fort, you build it like you're building a Lego set. So the pieces get laid out. You take the pieces with your cursor and you move them. And there's something satisfying about that sound as a Lego are, building together. Yep. That happens throughout it. But it's a great game. I cannot recommend it enough. I cannot not recommend it enough for anybody that's interested. But Fortnite's huge. It's going to continue to be huge. We just signed a big deal with Star Wars and Lucasfilm and Disney, I think, last year. And this is one of the first things. And there's something still coming out. They've got all these big plans to do stuff in Fortnite. But if you are a Star Wars fan and you want to be able to play this stuff, go out and play Fortnite. It's actually a lot of fun to play. But I want to talk about...
scroll up a little bit there.
Yeah.
Scroll up a little bit. The C-3PO with overalls. Is that like mechanic C-3PO or...
I don't know. I don't know what this skin is
Am I
from.
missing something? I was just like, is that a reference to something, or is this like?
I didn't see him in there. I didn't see him in the item shop. I bought the Chewbacca here, and I bought the Finn. There was a Rey skin as well. There was the Sith Trooper from Rise of the Skywalker. I bought that one as well. But I don't know what's going on with the overalls here. It's like hillbilly C-3PO or something. I'm not sure, but let's talk about Hunters because this freaking game is finally coming out June 4th on Android, iOS, and Nintendo Switch. This game is a game that I played at Star Wars Celebration like 2019, and they told me at the time that it was about ready to come out. Like I felt like I played the actual game, and it's just been sitting in limbo. I think it's been, again, I think we've talked about this, Ed, on the show with you and I have, but
Yeah.
I think it's been out there for, oh my gosh, let me see. So it's been in Europe, I think, for about the last year at least. But they did release a new trailer. There's a cinematic trailer that's come out. You can go ahead and pre-register, and it kind of gives you some items. I think if I scroll down, oh, it's on this page here. If you go to this page, the registration page, and you sign up, you can sign up to get an emote in the game. There's a new kind of skin here for your bounty hunter class or your like shooting class characters. You get a rifle, and then you kind of get these stickers. But I don't know. Ed, have you looked any more into this game? And I don't remember what you said, if this is something you would even play. But again, it is mobile, and it is on the Switch, so it's not a PC kind of game, which I think is already going to exclude a lot of folks. But I don't know. Any thoughts or overall impressions on the game so far?
Well, I've got a Switch, so I'll probably give this one a try. I gotta assume that this had to have had a bunch of glitches, and then they were trying to fix it, right? Because you don't want to release a game with glitches, because that's just going to turn people off, and it's never going to be good. Whereas if like you just delay and delay and delay to finally fix it, then release it, hopefully everything's fixed, and hopefully that's why they delayed it for so long. Because otherwise, like you said, you played a version of the game, it seemed like it worked, and in Europe. So hopefully this works out. Hopefully people will have fun playing this.
Yeah. Did you, and I want to ask you specifically, did you read the article I sent you? Because they were talking about the developers, and the developers are going on about how much this game had a pro wrestling influence. Like the guy was even talking about how he had just came from WrestleMania or whatever. And so a lot of the vibe that we get, including the new announcers, that was kind of the newest thing as far as this trailer goes here. They introduced us to these announcers, which I don't see on this screen here. But they're supposed to be like WWE, whatever announcers that are kind of broadcasting. I'm going to pull up the image of it. These guys right here. But yeah, did you get a chance to read the interview? And I mean,
yeah, I kind of skimmed through it. Yeah, it's like a cool concept, because like you look how hot WWE is right now. It's like it's as hot as it's been since like we were teenagers. And it's a cool thing to I guess bring into the Star Wars universe. I guess it almost makes you think of like, pod racing, right? How that was like their version of F1, and this is like their version of pro wrestling, but it's real to me, damn it.
Yeah. And in the game itself, for anybody that doesn't know, it's kind of squad based. You can team up with people. It's kind of like a mixture between Fortnite and what's the other game that's
Battlefront.
Yeah, maybe like Battlefront sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. And you've got like different arenas and stuff like that. It's a big tournament type thing. So it looks a lot of fun. The graphics are great. The characters are just so wild. I mean, the two Jawas that are kind of on top of each other, standing on each other, and they've got the big trench coat. I think they're called Utini, like Tuini is what the name of it is. That thing. But yeah, some of the character designs are really kind of far out there, which is a lot of fun.
I read for this game. I auditioned.
Oh, what?
Did you really?
On this game. I did not get it. Just spoiler alert, I am not in the game.
Okay, right.
But I did read it. And when it came up, I'm like, of course we're going to talk about this, aren't we? Let me rub some salt in the wounds here. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I read for it.
Yeah,
but
so you're
did
not buying the game.
You know what? And like, since it's on Switch, I think my kids will probably take a go at it.
Yeah.
It's got a vibe that they'll like. I like this style of thing from Star Wars, having some fun with the license, throwing new things out there. Like, my only slight worry is that there'll suddenly be 4,000 pages of lore for each individual character, and they'll be included in the background scene of something 8 years from now.
Right.
And it's like, and it's like, there's that one meme where it's like a highlight of a guy that's like, Star Wars fans, there he is. And it's like that idea. Yeah. Just have some fun and play with it. Not everything needs to be bogged down with justification for it to exist. It's Star Wars. It's fun. Have fun with the IP, Yeah. And I think Star Wars as a property needs to do more stuff like this. Maybe they're a little bit spurned from Masters of the Terracasi. I don't know.
Oh no, that's a great game.
It is a great game. Thank you.
But no, there was a time when they were doing a lot of this. You're right, and I think it was after the Disney acquisition they kind of pulled that back. I mean, we saw that with like Star Wars Detours, which was probably the most. I don't know what you would call it. They were kind of making fun of themselves a lot, more than they had ever done before. And I think Disney wanted to kind of shed that. And it feels like they're kind of gravitating back to that area, which is great. And to your point, I mean, these characters are so out of character, if you will. I mean, if you look at it, you've got an Ugnaught who's driving around in a droid decal. He's like right over here. You can't really see him on the screen, of course, but I mean, that's how far they've gone with the character designs. It's so wild. Like, there's no real universe where these characters would exist, but it's fun to play. And I think of like Bombad Racing, Masters of Terra Scassi was another one. There was what was the other one that was they had another like a little racing game where they're the dancing game. How about that? Like what was the Star Wars dancing game?
The Microsoft
yeah,
the Xbox mocap thing.
Exactly. I mean, that type of stuff has been gone for a while. Look, but now with this, and then Fortnite in the same way. Fortnite, you can get in whatever skin you want, and you can do what kind of dance you want, and shoot people. And
maybe like with the pro wrestling idea, it's that none of these people are what they are. It's all character. You know what I mean?
Oh, there you go.
Maybe that's why
that's the right
throwing that out there as a disclaimer for themselves later on. Who knows?
You should write comic books. You'd be good at that because
I dabble.
That's a very comic book writer thing to say. Hey, let's end on this. I want to end on Star Wars Celebration, honestly, because the tickets went on sale, of course, on May 3rd. That was Thursday afternoon. It was 6 p.m. Central Time, and this thing sold out like immediately. I think I don't have an official number, and I don't know if it'll ever be released, but I know people that were in the queue to buy tickets, and within 8 minutes when they got in, the Jedi VIP tickets were sold out. And this is like, I don't know how long it's been since something like this happened, but then the 3-day tickets had sold out in about 40 minutes ish around that time. And so now when you go in there, I think all you can get are single day tickets for each day. So you can still buy like a Saturday single day, a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday, but the 3-day packages and the VIP packages are gone. I did get my ticket, so I was able to get my 3-day pass. And I know a lot of folks who got shunned, unfortunately, because I think the demand was greater than they were expecting, or maybe the venue's too small. I don't really understand why it sold out as much as it did. But I know I probably already asked you guys, but did you even try? Have you heard anybody that got tickets to go?
I've been doing so many Comic-Cons. If I told my wife I was even going to think about doing this, she'd be so choked. There would be no balance in the force in my home. So no, did not even try. Did not even try.
Like a family trip to Japan?
No.
Right? Yeah, that. We're just taking everybody. It's fine.
Yeah, well, I'll go. Well, I got us 4 tickets. You got to sell your car, one of my kidneys, but we're going. It's going to be amazing.
We're there, man. Yeah, we'll see how this is going. And I did pick up they had I don't know if they have a link here, but I picked up a lanyard and I picked up the Ringer t-shirt.
Oh,
it's got
that logo is so good.
It's so good, so strong.
Yep, this visual.
I like the way you said "yep" there. You're like, "Yep, I got it."
Yep,
I got it.
What can I say?
Mine.
Well, to be fair, it was the only thing that was selling. They only had the key art there. There was nothing else available to sell. But yeah, this is, and there's quite a few people, man. A lot, at least the folks that are kind of in my Star Wars X and Instagram feeds and spheres. They all seem to be going. So I don't know what to expect, honestly. Neil just said he's been there going for I know he's been there many times. So I'll have to reach out to him to see, get some pointers on what to do and all that. But I'm excited. We're still like about a year away. But if anybody's going and you're listening to the show, let me know. I'd like to meet up at some point just to see a friendly face or whatnot. But
I'm so jealous, man. So jealous.
Well, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean,
anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Yeah. You know how this goes.
That's where I'm going.
Story before. Hey, Fred, before we get out of here, where can people find you?
On the Twitters and Instagram at fearless_Fred. Easiest way to find me. I'm on Threads, but I'm not as active. And honestly, it's because I don't like to be on my phone that much. And so it only being a mobile platform, I miss a lot of things when I'm on there. But Twitter, Instagram, easiest way to find me right there.
And what do you have that just came out?
I just got to announce my new book with Blizzard. I did a full-length graphic novel about Rathma, the Tales of the Necromancer. Rathma, who is, of course, the first necromancer in Diablo lore. Mm-hmm. And I got to work on it with Adam Gorham, who's doing the Darth Vader Red, White, and Black comic from Marvel. And he draws horror so well. Like, he's so heavy with his inks. It's beautiful. Like, it's such a cool book, and it was such a cool process to be a part of. So that just got announced. There's a few other things that are sort of bubbling under right now that are NDA'd up that I can't really talk about right now.
Oh, that's exciting, man. Congratulations.
There's a cool, I can talk about it. I'm doing a story for Assassin's Creed, and that's coming out through Massive Publishing, I think in the summer. And then there's a story in the Savage Sword of Conan that I'm doing as well with a Canadian artist from Quebec, Andy Belanger. And that's really cool. And there's some very cool things that are happening in Savage Sword with like Solomon Kane and Conan the Barbarian and all the Howard characters, and some really, really cool things happening. And to be part of it's very cool.
Yeah. Oh, man, congratulations on all that. So, yeah, follow Fred wherever he's at, man. He's got a lot of great stuff coming out. Ed, you and I got something coming out here in about 5 days officially. Is that
5
right?
days? Yeah, I got to finish writing that, I guess. I got a podcast called Album Anniversary. Talk about 1994 being the greatest year of music releases ever. And this Friday, it's the Blue Album. And me and Albert talking a bit about the Blue Album, and I give a whole little history. And if you're in Canada, you can hear it on Power 97 and CFox in Vancouver. And we play the whole album, but like on the podcast version, we got the interview with Albert, and that's going to be fun. And Albert, you did like a little teaser with your kiddo.
Yeah. I had a chance to sit down with him and get the real perspective and opinion from a genuine 13-year-old boy here in the U.S. about what it sounds like, 30 years later. And it was so fun to do. And I actually recorded, I released it. Maybe I'll put the link down there if anybody's interested to listen to. It's a small, I don't know, like 15-minute interview where we sat down and talked about the Blue Album. So, and now they're coming here, I think on the 25th of September. So I'm actually thinking about taking him out there to go, to Weezer concerts, because like, why not? But so, hey, look forward to that. Again, we'll share it on all the social media pages as well once it comes out. And stick around. If you guys, we're not going to do this as a Patreon episode, so this will be a public episode, but we're going to break down the Acolyte trailer, Jonesy and I, here in about 10 minutes, or actually less than that, 6 minutes from now. We'll break down that trailer. We're going to go frame by frame, literally at points, and just point out some of the stuff that we really loved and some of the things that you might have missed in the trailer, because there actually were a couple things that were, I felt like, kind of Easter eggs or things that are not being spoken about that we're going to do reckless speculation and theorize on, which should be, of course, a lot of fun. So stick around for that. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. And May the 4th, or I guess Revenge of the 5th. May the 5th be with you. Revenge of the 5th be with you. I don't know. One of those.
That'll work. It works. It all works.
Right. We'll see you guys here in just a few minutes.
You're still listening? Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property, and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.